Welcome to this month's KTN webcast training series. I'm Doug Kennedy and coming to you from our office today in the Fort Lauderdale and Miami area, live, and I can say around the world. We once again have an international turnout today. We have participants joining us from Asia, from Africa, from Europe, and of course, North America. We're missing you, South America, and also Australia. Where's our Aussie friends today? But hopefully you'll catch us on the replay on our YouTube channel or podcast. I want to do a few shout outs as we're waiting for the rest of our attendees to come in live. We do have a really amazing percentage of you that join us live despite all the different time zones and time differences. But of course, if this is your first webcast with us, please do remember that when you join us, when you register, you will automatically receive the recordings. So before we jump over to shout outs, let me acknowledge our sponsors without whom we could not do this series. They help pay for the time it takes to develop the webcast and also to promote it and get the word out to all of you, which is probably how most of you found us. First of all, Track, a TravelNet solution, which offers a great property management system in the vacation rental, condo, and alternative lodging business. They also run the Track Pulse CRM, which is very relevant to today's conversation. Travel Outlook, the premier call center. A lot of you signed up referred by Travel Outlook. I just did another round of training for their latest new hire class yesterday. We actually do a 4-part onboarding training with them where we meet the staff on their new first day, halfway through their training process, then we do one-on-ones, and then we have kind of a new hire class reunion a few months down the road. So check them out if you're looking for outside training support. We love to do shout outs for the first couple of minutes, and Julia, our social media and marketing coordinator, and I always go through the list, and there's just so exciting to see the names. I'm sitting here in my office looking at a little webcam and trying to, project out to all of you, and it helps me very much to look through the list. First of all, our international people joining us, Ambassador Hotel Croatia, Antonella and Dora, thank you for joining us. B&B Me, Dubai. I know we've had some conversations with you, and today we have Boomi and Kushbu joining us. Sail Rock and the Turks and Caicos, Anita, thank you. Gilet from Benin, which is in Northwest Africa. This is a country I did not know existed. So Julia and I went on the map here and we saw, and we appreciate you joining us. Once again, Valerie from Parkside Hotel Group in Kyiv. It's wonderful to have you. I've only been to Kyiv once. I would love to come back and do some training for you when the time is right. We have a lot of hotel companies today. We have Rosewood Hotels Call Center. Hello, Ruby. Great to see you. You're such a loyal turnout for this. And then we have Noble House Hotels, Christopher and John. Thank you for tuning in. We would love to be in touch with you as well. On the vacation rental side, so many people here have joined us. I know you do a lot in following up on phone calls with emails in this niche of lodging. We have Villatel. Wow, you signed up. It looks like your whole company, along with Carolina One, Matthew. Thank you. We have, and I think Villatel, you might be new to us. We have many of our clients that are vacation home rental companies, Atlantic Vacations, Romeo, and there's a few others on our list too. Florida Vacation Homes, Lynn, Stephanie, thank you. Elite Resorts in Maui, Dora, hello, aloha, I should say. And speaking of aloha, Parish, Kauai, we have Robin and Simone. Newman Daly, I don't know that we've seen a lot of you, but Kirby, thank you for joining us. I think you may be operations manager. Cozy Vacations, great to see a big turnout from you. Sophia, Janice, it's so nice to see you, and we just love your loyalty. Alex from Village, Sarah Elizabeth and team from Sanders. I just emailed you about this topic yesterday. Hotels, wow. Sandy Lane, Barbados, we're so proud to have you as a client. If you're not familiar with it, is an iconic Forbes 5-star hotel, leading hotel of the world member. As Jekyll Island, I don't know if we've seen you before in these webcasts either. Monica, Newport Harbor Island, Whistler Platinum. Haven't been to Whistler in a while. Good time of the year to bring Doug Kennedy there to do some training. Hershey, I'm so glad to see you on our webcast. I see Megan, and Megan, you're a trainer, so I know I better really be good today on this webcast. But we also have some others from your team. Finally, I want to acknowledge top leaders that have registered for today's webcast. It means so much to us. So we have Cumbata Beach, Xavier, a GM, okay, Puerto Rico. Thank you for making this a priority. We have two top chair executives, Ted from TNB Hotels and John from Pinnacle. A lot today, we're talking about this topic seems probably the most relevant for resorts, for upscale, luxury, and independent, but you know it's relevant for every hotel. A lot of the times people do call when they want to book 2, 3, 5 reservations, not big enough to kick over to the group salesperson, but still a hot lead, or somebody that wants to stay one room for 2 weeks and they're not quite ready. Let's train our front desk teams in many cases if you don't even have on-site res to follow up. I also want to acknowledge La Quinta Resort, a curio collection from Hilton, another of our clients. It has been a while, Warren, since I did some on-site training, even though you're currently a client for our other services. Love to come out there. Oh, and one more, Ace Whitewater Rafting Company. Okay, that really caught our attention when we saw several of you signed up. I did have a chance to work with NOC Outdoor Adventures, a similar company, and we did training that was attended by their call center people as well as their group and event salespeople. So anyway, now we got most of our crew on as we're waiting for them after shout outs. Let's jump into our topic, how to turn those inbound reservation inquiries into proactive outbound sales leads. From sales fishing and reeling in little fishy that bites the line in the water that's on the hook, which is our web presence. We reel them in and then we go hunt them down with a bow and arrow and go out there and bring the business home. So especially at resort, the role of reservation sales agents continues to evolve. Now, traditionally, this has always been viewed as simply fielding the inbound calls, answering the questions that come in, booking those who are thought to be not techno-savvy enough to book online. I actually think that's an urban legend we need to let die, okay? I jokingly say all the time, Granny's got an iPad. In fact, I'll even say this, great Granny has an iPad and she knows how to work that thing. It is a misnomer that older people, this is called generationalism. I wrote about this in one of my thought leadership articles if you're in our newsletter subscription. And you know that it's an age thing. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but this is traditionally what's believed out there. But especially at resorts, especially resorts that are destination resorts where you have a captive audience, especially at vacation home rental companies where you're renting, you know, a large space, and especially at luxury hotels. Most guests will call or message us, or a combination of the two, multiple times prior to booking. So if you're in an offshore location, the Barbados, the Turks and Caicos, our Hawaii participants today, someone has to book a flight. That's the big excuse. Oh, got to book our flights first. You know, there's a lot of reasons why people will say they're not ready, but let me share this next thought with you. The more important the trip is, okay? So if someone is very young even, and they love to do everything online, and it's their honeymoon, they're probably gonna call. The higher the rates. You think about the rates some of our luxury clients charge today that are on this webcast, you know, what you're selling, and we're gonna delve into that in a moment, it's a large dollar amount, okay? And so people may not just buy on the first call. The larger the accommodation, and which ties into the more people in the party. So if you're selling villas, if you're selling vacation homes, if you're a traditional resort, but you have 2-bedroom suites, or you have the non-traditional lodging at a resort, maybe you're a mixed-use resort. We have many clients that have the traditional hotel, and then of course they have the vacation homes and villas. And so the more people in the party, but let me tell you this, the more emotionally connected they are to their travel plans. That is the biggest factor, and the more likely you need several conversations to get them across the finish line. So, you know, I call it taking the Doug Kennedy challenge. If you're using a system like TrackPulse, or we have clients on other systems where you're recording calls, go into the database, search up a particular phone number and see how many times they call. And you will see that it's multiple times. And you also can look their email address up and see how many times they've emailed you, okay? Now, this is a number. We have a lot of revenue managers on today. Thank you for joining us. We have marketing people, we have executives. You are inundated with data these days, and everyone is saying, what's your KPI? You know, and you're looking at all these different numbers. If you love numbers, do you have this number? Because I think you should. And that is the potential value of one reservation inquiry. We were pitching a client this week in Hawaii, and they were like, that, you know, that's a number we don't have. And that is the formula to find it empirically, is to take your total revenue for the previous year and divide it by the total number of bookings. And you really should look at a whole year, because most of us on the call today are seasonal. And if we're not seasonal, we're driven by event driven. If you're in a city and Taylor Swift comes to put on a concert there, yeah, she's coming here in October for three days in a row to Miami. You know, you're going to have big surge in rates and a lot of demand. But if you look at it over a period, and then, you know, you find the number of your revenue divided by number of bookings, that is a number that really gets us thinking, okay? It gets us thinking about the potential of how much revenue can we generate if we capitalize on that phone call, okay? And then if you're a reservation agent today, you know, sometimes, and a reservation managers, sometimes we have to help everyone realize just how much we're doing and how important we are, okay? And I'm not talking about being boastful here. Let's put that whole thought aside. But we need recognition. There's a lot of our clients that will hold, you know, the annual party, and we hold up our sales managers in high esteem, which we should, okay? But let us not forget the revenue being brought to your resorts, your hotels, your vacation rental companies by the people sitting in your reservation office. So here's a shout out to you, okay? And if you calculate this number, managers, I think you should post it on the wall if you're in an office. Okay, a lot of you work virtually today, I get it, or maybe you're hybrid, people work remote. Have it as a screensaver. Buy it to put it on a mouse pad, okay? But make sure people think about that, because you think about how much money we spend to make those phone calls come in. You know, years ago when I started doing reservations training, it was actually the marketing people, especially print marketing, billboard expenses, that they put a phone number out there, and they would be devastated when people would call and, you know, if they weren't sold properly. But think about today, you know, that direct booking is not free. The website design and hosting and maintenance, pay-per-click ads, SEO, organic. The organic search is not by accident. I know we spend a lot of money on that at KTN. Social media promos that you're doing, if you're doing paid promos on Facebook and all the other channels out there. Also, outbound email campaigns. All of these cost money. Some of them are direct hard costs, some are buried in the P&L. And then someone calls. We should always follow up, okay? And I know I'm still talking about why, but I'm gonna get to the what, because a lot of you already know this, but some of you haven't thought of it, right? This is new to you. Maybe the promo caught your eye. And some of you do know it, but I want you to relive it and relearn it in a deeper way, because phone calls are the hottest leads. Why? It's harder for the caller. More effort is required to pick up their phone and call instead of tapping over a message and on a keyboard or on their phone, you know, for an email or a chat or another textual message inquiry. When someone calls us, that is gold. So I'm going to give you a couple of real quick highlights, because before we turn the phone call into an outbound lead, we want to first try to close it. And not only that, but it's going to help us personalize our follow-up. So I'm going to share just a few highlights from our brand new, just being announced today, Reservation Quest 2025. Actually, it was announced yesterday in an article that I submitted for the Hospitality Net. But official announcement comes out next week. I'm going to give you highlights of this on Friday, December 20th. If you join us on Friday, December 20th for highlights from Reservation Sales Quest 2025. But remember, the big difference that we have today is in the past, people called up and said, hi, I'm thinking about making a reservation. What are your rates? Can you help me? Or I need a book, something like that, okay? An actual phone. Now, Voice leads today are not coming in as leads. They're coming in as quick questions. And when we start working with clients that are using Track, Revenate Navis, Send Squared, any kind of Voxy, any kind of CRMs to track the number of inbound calls, a lot of people are marking these down as, oh, they just had a question, okay? But I want us to think today, that is a lead. And if we engage them in a conversation, they're probably early at what they say top of funnel. They're just starting their search. But if we get that email address and we follow up, we now have a lead. What are the quick questions we get today? I just have a quick question about, okay. Now, if you're a hotel, it might be, what does the resort fee cover? Can you waive it? Just asking, right? I'm shopping online and I just wanted to check, okay? I know it's not pet friendly, but can I please bring my dog? Or how many cars can you park? Or is there an extra charge for a crib? Okay, should I pay 50 bucks? Oh no, probably more today to check the pack and play on an airline. Back when my kids were little, we checked the pack and play for free, okay? But now it's an extra, you know, the suitcase is the first charge and then an even higher upcharge. So they're adding quick questions. This is one my participants in my classes say, I was just wondering. They're not just wondering, they're not just curious. You really think they have nothing better to do after dinner? Like, what do you want to do tonight, honey? Oh, I know, let's call hotels and ask weird questions. Great idea. So remember, they have a quick question. Here's what we want to say next. This is right at the start of our Quest 2025, new content. Hey, answer that question. Yeah, you can park 2 vehicles. Do you have an oversized vehicle? You have extra vehicles? We can help you. But by the way, have you made a reservation yet? Since I'm right here at in-house reservations, okay, maybe you work remotely, maybe you're outsourced and you work in another location, but you're still direct in-house reservations, right? If you don't want to say in-house, just say here at direct reservations. Can I just double check that rate for you since I'm right here with in-house reservations? Oh, that's okay, I'm shopping online. Well, what website are you on? Okay, and we start that conversation and the next thing you know, we have a lead, okay? Because why do people have quick questions? They're confused about reviews or they're overwhelmed by choice. We talk about this a lot in all my webcasts. Choice overwhelm is a big problem in consumerism today. It's one of the things that actually stresses us out, especially when you're planning your first trip with the baby, your honeymoon, your anniversary, your parents' 40th anniversary family retreat, okay? So rather than emailing the long list of accommodations that's just going to leave them overwhelmed and confused, engage them with questions, all right? And that's how we move from order taker to order maker. Now, a lot of you today in the vacation rental business, especially, someone calls and says they're looking at a home. Okay, probably not the ones on my webcast. Sun Realty, I see you all the time. Ali'i, I see you all the time. Florida Vacation Homes, I know you've been engaged with us. Atlantic Vacations, we talk about this in the webcam training and on-site training for some of you. I know it's not you, but some companies say, oh, hi, I need help. I'm trying to find the right home. When is it? How many nights? How many bedrooms do you need? Do you need a hot tub? Do you need a pool? Do you need a game room? Okay, what's your email? Let me send you the list. Okay. Rather than sending that list. Now, hotels, I don't know that so many of us are doing this. Some of you may be doing this at destination resorts where you have multiple room categories and you just simply email them. But vacation rental has been ahead of the game than the other side of lodging that we work with in this area. But the problem we're doing in vacation rental, we're simply emailing the list of what's available, okay? So instead, ask questions and then what we call the loop it back listening. What brings you in? Oh, it's a family vacation. A family vacation, how fun. Well, actually, it's going to be our last trip with our kids before the twins leave for college. Or it's our first time bringing mom since my father passed away, since grandpa passed away. And you start to engage them in a question. That's called loop it back listening, folks. These questions move us in reservation sales from the transactional style to a conversational style. This is the world we want to live in, okay? Make that heartfelt connection. We talked about this a few months ago in Kamamuta, the warm, fuzzy feeling, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Kennedy Training Network YouTube channel. The Kamamuta is where you hang up the call and you go, oh, he was so nice. Sophia, I just talked to the nicest person, yeah. And so that's what you want to have. I just did the part 4 with the Travel Outlook crew, and they said they love the Kennedy call flow because we encourage them to engage in conversations. And they talked about how they had find out these amazing things. And you know you're really doing a good job, reservation agents, when they say, am I going to get to meet you? Yeah, and then they're in a call center sometimes. Well, I'm actually in a different location, but feel free to ask for me. Otherwise, our jobs are going to be pretty soon replaced by AI, ChatGPT, but it cannot have personal connections. Now, oh, this got cut off. The questions that we ask also enable us to send personalized follow-up. That's what we're going to go to next year, okay? So the more we know about them, we don't just send over a follow-up email, we personalize that template. Okay, so stay tuned because I'm going to give you actual sample copy from our training classes. Be prepared to do some screenshots here. It is not our job to help them find what's available. AI can beat us every time, okay? Never takes a lunch break, never calls in sick, never asks for a raise, okay? But it is our job to help them decide. Only humans can do that. When you think about it, in revenue managers, marketing directors, hotel company presidents and CEOs, general managers, I want you all to think about sometimes the amount of money some of us are charging. You are selling an accommodation that is easily into 5 figures, okay? 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. I see some of the names on this list. 10,000. If you're in a Caribbean destination during what we call festive season, between Christmas and New Year's, I had a client in St. Lucia, it was 125,000 for one booking. They weren't shocked. I was. At the time anyway, you could buy a condo here in Fort Lauderdale for that price, not anymore. So why wouldn't we want to talk to people? Why wouldn't we? We have gotten so spoiled, like, oh, well, we have this great website and, we track metrics because we can get all these, we can meet our KPIs and we can find a conversion rate. Or OTAs, what is your wash rate on an OTA? I've been asking around a lot, 20, 40% of OTA bookings cancel. So online phone bookings don't cancel at that rate. Let's have conversations. So one more reminder before we look at what to say in the follow-up. Do not be so set on getting follow-up leads that we forget to try to book it now. Now, I know this goes out to some of the lead tracking systems, and I don't want to pick on any of the three or four main ones that I mentioned, but they really, really push you to follow the KPI for how many leads you generate, okay? It's not Track, by the way. Track, I know, bounces that good because you do want to track how many follow-up leads you send, thank you, Track, and how many you convert. But the goal is to get the sale. Way better to get the sale now than to get it, as a follow-up lead. So always, always, always offer to secure that. Vacation home rental people, luxury resorts, offshore resorts where a flight needs to be booked, and a lot of you may be seasonal, so maybe in ski season in the winter coming up, you charge deposits that cannot be canceled, non-refundable up until 30 days out, or you charge, same thing in warm climates this winter. But what you can do is, a lot of people used to do courtesy holds where you hold it for 24 hours. Not a bad way to go. The better way these days is, let's book that now. It is non-refundable since we're within 30 days, but you can cancel in the first 24 hours. Okay. So think about that. Try to get them. Now, hopefully they're going to say yes, and they say, but some say thanks, and they start to end the call. Well, thank you. And then some of them give the lame excuses. I'm going to check with my wife. smart husband. I gotta check with the kids' vacations, gotta book the flights. A very few actually say, well, we're gonna shop around, we're not yet convinced, okay? So this is where we kick into follow-up mode, all right? So hopefully for all inquiries, you would do this. And again, if you're in the luxury market, if you're in the vacation home market, looking at some of the hotels, I've seen the rates at many of you. Yeah, you should follow up on every lead. Think of what is the revenue potential? That's why we started with that. And how much did it cost to make that phone ring? But those of you who are in mid-scale hotels, economy hotels, thank you for joining us. At least 4 high revenue opportunities. Top tier accommodation, longer stays, those booking multiple accommodations, okay? So we want to try to at least follow up on the hot ones, okay? Now, how-tos. Let's get into our how-tos and I give you samples, the meat of this webcast. Do not say, well, okay, hi, can I secure that for you, Mr. Kennedy? Well, I'm not ready. Okay, well, do you want me to send you an email? That is a flat out automatic no for me. I don't know about you, but my brain is programmed when someone says, do you want an email? You know, almost anywhere you go here in the United States anyway, it's like, would you like your receipt email? No, I don't, because if I let you email me the receipt, then I'm gonna start getting all kinds of spam for you. So the better way is say, okay, Mr. Kennedy, well, it was wonderful talking with you. Now, please allow me to have your email address so I can send you my direct contact information here at in-house or direct reservations, okay? So at minimum, get their email and send them your contact information, okay? Hopefully you're gonna have the template and you're gonna personalize it. We're gonna show you how to do that in just a minute. You may already be in the game with this. Please stay tuned. I hope to give you some additional tips. Those of you, and I know, recognize a lot of the names with me today are already in the game. So I'm trying to strike that sweet spot in the middle in the explanation here. Now, be proactive and ask for their phone number. Some of you get the phone number at the very start of the call, okay? Not a bad idea. I am not personally for getting the phone number and the email at the start of the call, usually, because what happens sometimes in the real world, that sounds great from your marketing hat, but the real world sometimes, you divert the call into making it a transactional start. So, hi, I had a couple of questions thinking about staying there. Yes, well, first let me get your name. Okay, that's fair. All right, and may I have your phone number? Better way to say it is you're in your caller ID, you're probably seeing the number, just say, and Mr. Kennedy, I just wanted to verify your phone ends in 4777. That's correct. And then if you say, may I have your email? Okay, if it's john.doe@gmail, that's easy. But the problem we get into is bad connections on mobile phones. We get difficult spelling names. We get creative spelling names. All right, let's take Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y, S-Y-N-D-I, you know, there's so many different ways to spell a simple name like Cindy. So we divert the attention into the conversation into a data collection process. I feel it's better to try to get the booking now. And if you say, before I let you go, allow me to get your email so I can send you my contact information. Now, maybe you're making it work and it's working for you, keep doing it that way. But I'm just sharing what I think are the best habits for doing this overall. So, okay, Mr. Kennedy, I'll send that right out to you. And I'm going to reach out in a few days to see what else we can do on our end to help you finalize plans. That's a lot harder to say no, isn't it? Now, a lot of times when we're working with clients that are already in the game of sending emails, either they say, well, we don't want to make the calls. Well, why do you not want to make the calls? We don't want to do follow-up calls, Doug. Well, you know, people don't want to give us their phone numbers. Well, why don't they want to give you the phone numbers? And then you start to peel the layers of the onion. And I literally ask, how do you ask for that? Or our Kennedy Training Network team, we listen to real calls every day in our offices because we dial in and score real conversations. So people that have any recording platform. And what we hear from new clients, a lot of people start out and they're saying, okay, would you like an email? Oh, and some will still say yes, okay. And would you like me to call you? No. Who wants an extra phone call? Okay. But when you say it like this, so take a screenshot. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, I'll send that right over. And be assumptive. I'll also reach out in a few days to see what I can do on our end to help you finalize plans. Now, if you just had a heartfelt conversation, and you actually are much more likely to get a yes here, okay? So it's the how you do it is really important. We spent some time on the why you do it to start out, but if you're still with me, this is the how part, and the nuance of this is really, really key. So do not say, do you want me to call you? Instead say, I'm gonna reach out in a few days. And it's also, what can we do to help you finalize plans? And you can personalize this even more. See what I can help you do to finalize plans for your first trip with the baby, or your first trip with just mom, no grandpa, to help you plan your honeymoon. What can I do on our end? Because we would love to have you as our guests. I end every sales Zoom meeting, because I like to do Zoom meetings, with let us know what we can do to win you as a new client. Not let me know if you have any questions and you want to book training with us, okay? So same concept. Now, ideally your leaders gave you a few different templates that are typical of the various call stories, but do not just pull down the template, stick a name in there and send it, okay? Now, hopefully you have templates, and hopefully you have a few different templates for the typical guest stories that you have, okay? Some of your property management systems, like Track and others, will make it easy to click the properties, the vacation properties you're going to send, and email it out. Some of the hotel and resort systems allow you to do that. Most of them you have to copy and paste a link. That's all good. But the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is to follow up in a personal way. And I'm going to show you exact samples here, but introduce yourself as the in-house on-site specialist. It's almost like you got that big red flag. Now, if you're in-house local area, you really want to waive it. If you're a call center, it's harder. Okay, I know we have Topaz with us today. We have a couple of other call centers. We have some brand call centers, which I already shouted out. It is much harder, okay, but you can still say, this is Doug from Direct Reservations. Or you can still say in-house. It's not on site, you're the Direct Reservation. Offer assistance with selecting the best options, and if whatever you can do about the local area. Remember, you're selling an experience. We talk about this a lot in Quest. We're not room renters, okay? Most of the time in the room, they're sleeping. They might have their awake time. We call it RevPA, revenue per awake hour. Okay, how much revenue do they spend per hour awake? It's not many hours, it's a lot of revenue. It's not the room for most of you, it's the overall experience, okay? And then relay your direct contact information, all right? So regardless of what template you use, or if you have to write your own, I'm gonna give you some tips for a very basic one. Don't be generic and anonymous, okay? Simply restate whatever it is you've learned from that conversation, all right? So now get ready for your screen captures, to do screenshots. I mean, we have 5 coming up. If you do want additional training on this, I do traditional on-site training for those that have the staff in one location. We also do this as a webcam training that we can spend time and we go over the concepts, then we role play and we practice. So we actually put this. Now, if you're a leader and you want to do this yourself, take some actual inquiries, okay, and then stick them on a screen or a flip chart or a tablet, and then have each person write their personalized response. But I'm going to give you some examples today of the way we do it. So if you notice, the bold part is all that is original. So this is a template right here. Now you have to insert their name, okay? Hello, Douglas, okay? And by the way, according to Forbes 5-star standards for 2024, it is okay to use the caller's first name if they've given you permission to do so, which a lot of people do today. If you're not worried about the nuance, the extremes, specifics of Forbes, we can pretty much know that in today's world, You just simply say, okay, Douglas Kennedy, may I call you Douglas? And most people say, oh, sure. So that's why I have a first name as an example. Okay, now there are differences here, Southeast US. If you tell someone to say, just call me Douglas, they will say Mr. Douglas. I get it. So maybe yours will say Mr. Kennedy for your demographics. Okay, I know a few of you today will be concerned about that. That's why I'm mentioning it. But hello, insert name. This is Chris from In-House Reservations or In-House On-Site Reservations. If you are, raise that flag, okay? It was wonderful meeting you by phone today. This is copy paste. This is pre-saved in your template. This is all you have to type, okay? Now, by the way, AI is really fun. You can use ChatGPT to rewrite your templates. You can use voice to text to say this so you don't have to type it. Or if you learn QWERTY like me in school and you type with 10 fingers, this won't take long. How exciting to learn about your plans for your first trip with the new baby. Okay, now if you're a new parent, you can say, oh, I have a baby too. I remember those times when my daughter was born. How old is your daughter? Oh, she's 9 weeks. Oh, mine's 11 weeks. Oh, you have so much in common. It's kind of funny when you have the second or third kid, you're like, how old is Julia, right? And you're like, oh, she's about a year, okay? But it's that human connection that you make, or your first grandbaby. These are life's moments that make us human. Talk about it. You know, that's why you start by asking the question, be human. Hello, Douglas. This is Chris from In-House On-Site Reservations. Wonderful meeting you by phone today. Okay, this one's a few more words on QWERTY. How exciting to hear about your plans to surprise your partner with this anniversary trip. Your first time traveling without the kids, okay? Big milestone there, okay? You know, again, our kids are in their 20s now, but I remember the first trip without the kids. You know, I think we probably went maybe 45 minutes away, but the last thing our neighbor said when we were leaving is like, she'll still be here when you get back. It's a really big moment, okay? Hi, Chris, Doug from In-House Reservations. Wonderful meeting you by phone today. I'm delighted to assist you with planning this year's family meetup. Let me tell you, these things work. A lot of you today, I know that you know because I've trained you on this, and yet you're still on our webcast. Thank you. But what I love to see is when I see people that are doing these things and I look in their email exchanges. We do this remotely. Our teams actually score digital message exchanges just like we score voice calls and also mystery shops. And I love to see the responses, because when you throw in 1, 2 heartfelt, personalized comments, the person writes back and they're, you know, or it's just like on the phone, then they'll start really connecting with us. You were so helpful. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, reservation staff. I wish I could see all of you today, you know, hundreds of you, but how many of you had a guest ask for you? How many of you had a guest send you a card, bring you candy, brought you a bottle of wine, okay? This happens a lot, and we make those kind of connections by having heartfelt conversations. Here's the rest of the template, okay? You notice none of this is in bold, okay? Here, following are the links to the options we discussed. Hopefully your reservation system like Track allows you to just insert them. A lot of our hotel property management systems are behind the game in this. We have to copy and paste. If you don't copy and paste, you know what, that's fine too. You know, you can just delete that part, but give me a call back or shoot me over an email if I can help you choose the best accommodations and assist with any questions you have on our area activities and attractions. And that is how we let them know we want your business. What can we do to help you? Okay, and then finally, to finish it out, you can reach me directly at, okay, now, a lot of luxury hotels have direct dial for their agents. A lot of vacation rentals have direct dial for your agents. Some of you do not want them to ask for the specific agents. Some of you do because they may be commissioned. You may change that a little bit, but you can reach us directly. Any of my colleagues can assist you if I'm not here. And let's talk about call centers. Can I call back and ask for you? There's 200 agents on at one time, okay? Or there's 60 on at one time, maybe, at one of the brand call centers, one of the smaller brand call centers with us today. You don't want them to have to go on hold to wait for Doug and Reservations. But there's a lot of times they're gonna say, like, can I call back and ask for you? And reservation agents just say, oh, sure, but anyone here can assist you, okay? So you don't want to say, no, I'm just one of 200 people here. Don't ask for me, you know, you'll never get me. Any of my colleagues can assist you in my absence, or reply to this email and I'll reach out to you. So many of you have the unified inbox where everything comes back, but if they write back to a person, you can, whoever's manning the inbox that day, or if it's a shared unified inbox, you can grab it, you can respond. Or if Chris is off that day, you could say, Chris is off today, but my name is Zoe, and my name is Angel, and I am covering her emails, okay? So let's talk about tracking before I wrap up here. Tracking leads in a reservation CRM works best. Of course, we think highly of Track, our sponsors. We have a lot of our clients, as I mentioned to you, we score download calls and score calls in our team here for over 1,000 per month in Track, and in Revenate, and in SendSquared, and in Ring Central, and in Voxy, and Pure Cloud, and probably a lot of others that I can't think of right now. But for not all those are CRMs. The only 3 that I know of where the lead comes in, populates on the screen, and then is attached to the client record, and we then can attach it if they call back to a pop-up phone number, is Track, Revenate, and SendSquared. Now, if you have those, I hope I've given you some reminders of why it's important to use these features and how to use it. If you don't have those systems, you certainly can talk to the providers here and get a couple of bids. But some of you may be thinking, my boss will never go. Maybe you're the GM, the ownership will never go for it. Get in the game with Excel or Google Sheets, okay? And I'm gonna share with you now a lead tracking form we have. If you email me at the end, I will reply personally with the lead tracking form and the slides with the sample dialogue. So if you want either or both of those items, email me, Doug at Kennedy Training Networks, and this is an Excel that Julia from our team, Julia Kennedy, I'm proud to say, made our lead tracking form, which is a starting place for you. It's done in Excel, okay? So the name, dates of travel, notes about the inquiry that you can use to personalize the email, and the follow-up calls. We're going to talk about the follow-up calls here in just a moment, okay? And then you check off if you made the follow-up call and then what ended up happening, okay? So enter the notes into your Excel or your Revenate, SendSquared, or Track, and then use those notes to personalize the follow-up and the emails. All right, now, follow up tenaciously. I think 3 times at least. So send the follow-up after the voice call, okay? And then I really recommend considering the follow-up phone call. It's a habit, it's a new habit for a lot of us. We're just email it and we let it go. But make the phone call. Remember, they gave you permission by giving you the phone number. Even if you get voicemail, you're gonna make a positive first impression. Now, if a live person answers, do not say, hi, is this Douglas Kennedy? Did you get my email? First of all, you're gonna catch me in the middle of doing something else. I'm gonna be like, what? Huh? You know, I don't remember exactly what I was doing yesterday. But if you say this, oh, hi, Chris, this is Alex from company name. I spoke with you yesterday regarding your first trip with the baby, your first trip with no kids, your anniversary. Oh, I'm just calling to see what we can do on our end to help you finalize plans, because we'd love to have you as our guest. Put some heart into this. If you're in sales, but you're joining us for our other webcasts, heartfelt hospitality really stands out. People are the superpower here. The nuance of the communications we say and we put into writing are very, very impactful and very meaningful, Now, if you don't get a call back, so you do the email, you place a phone call. If you don't receive a response to the email or the call back, to wrap it up here, send one more email on to see what else we can do to help you finalize plans. So what I generally recommend is find and then forward the original email that you sent, because that has the links and that has all the recap of their story and the details that you're an in-house or on-site person, and just add a simple statement, reaching out one more time to see what else we can do on our end, okay? Do not ever say, as much as you might want to, if you've been ghosted, do not say, since I didn't hear back from you, I'm emailing one more time, but you're just following up on your previous correspondence. I don't say just following up on the phone call and the email, just following up on my previous correspondence to see what else we can do to host your important trip, a trip that was important enough for them to call. So I hope this has been helpful. To recap, actually calculate average revenue per booking. If you're in reservations, you can calculate it yourself. If you're not sure, take your average rate times your average length of stay, or just guess. If you're a revenue manager, go back to 2023, or at this point, probably have enough at 2024, total revenue divided by total bookings. If they work at home, put it on a mouse pad or a screensaver. If you're in the office, post it on the wall. Ring ring means ka-ching. Make sure that we do all we can to have investigative questions. The more we find out, the more we can personalize, okay? Try to get the sale while they're on the line, but then if necessary, you can go ahead, and that's when you're going to follow up, okay? But try to get that sale during the first call, all right? And then when you do follow up, make it all about, don't be generic, don't be anonymous, make it all about being personalized. Thank you to Track, thank you to Travel Outlook. I want to remind you before I let you go, every month we do a new webcast. Reservation Quest 2025 comes up in December. This is a great one, general managers, company presidents, the tricycle of guest service. And we're going to talk about the front wheel of that tricycle, which is hospitality wheel. Makes the difference, but this is where we honor our housekeeping, maintenance, IT, engineering, people that provide the supportive back wheels, and how we all must work together. I have a great one coming up in November. Customer hospitality is bigger than guest service, and we're going to talk about it being foundational to your company. This was a title of my article for CoStar, Hotel News Now, last month. Julia Kennedy, thank you for making all of our webcasts available by video on YouTube and by podcast. You can catch us on Spotify or Castbox, which is the one I go with, or also YouTube podcast. We've added a lot to our YouTube channel. We had YouTube Shorts, which are funny little ones I do for about a minute long. We have Kate Martin from our team doing our hospitality training tips. She goes into a different character. We never knew she was such an actress until she started doing this for us. All at our YouTube channel, all free. If you're interested in on-site training, private live webcam training, not mass audience, but one-on-one, where our trainers meet you where you are, and you're on webcam too. Mystery shopping, or if you have any recording systems, we log in, score calls, also email exchanges, and of course we do private live one-on-one coaching for a lot less than you'd expect, where we actually meet with your staff every month to go over the results. So finally, here's my email, Doug@Kennedy Training Network. If you want the form, if you want the slide decks that had the sample dialogue, or if you want details regarding everything else. I'm looking at the count now. We have over half of our people are still online after I already started my wrap up here. I did see a few dropping off. So thank you. Please help us spread the word. If you, we will be posting the recording on social media. If you did find this valuable, we would appreciate your helping us get the word out. Company presidents and CEOs, these are free. We hope you help spread the word as well. It was an honor to be with you today. Happy Friday, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, unless maybe you're in Asia and you're already enjoying your weekend. Thank you again, everybody. And we hope to see you next month on the next KTN webcast.